Hello, welcome to Learn How To, and today we're going to look at toning some 3D shapes. And I'm going to use a mixture of pencil, crayon and pencil to do this with. Again, it's building on our sort of 3D drawing skills, following on from isometric. So we're going to start with a nice and simple shape, and we'll see if you can guess which ones are for each shape. So we'll start nice and easy with the top right hand corner and this one up here. So if you've guessed it correctly, this is a cube. Okay, I'm going to do this one in pencil, just a bit of a recap on isometric. So nice and neatly doing isometric. So I've just marked out the outline of the shape. All I'm going to do first of all is thick and thin the edges. I'm going to use the pencil to do that. And I'm going to give it a bit of an effect on those edges as well, just they're a little bit shiny, by flicking from dark to light, just to enhance this a bit more. This is building on the basic thick and thin line technique. Again, if you flick it from thick to thin on the actual each edge, it gives you a bit more definition, like so. And then the inner ones, same but not so heavy. And already it's coming to life. Okay, so if you remember from the isometric exercise when we toned and did flat toning for light, medium and dark surfaces, if our light's coming from the top left hand corner here, naturally the highest part will hit the light first. So nice and gently in the same direction. What I've done this time, I've turned the isometric grid paper over because I wanted the white surface so you can see the actual rendered effects a little bit better on these shapes. And don't be scared to move your paper around so it's comfortable for your hand. So next nearest to the light is the left side, a little bit heavier this time, keeping that pencil straight. Again, we don't want a tide mark there, so bring that back across. Okay, definite difference between light and medium, and then a little bit heavier for dark. Okay, so there's our first shape done. Going to work our way down now, so onto our next shape. And this time I'm going to go with a nice lime green pencil crayon. So first of all, can we guess the name of the shape? Well, it's got a square base and it's pyramid shaped, so it's got to be a square base pyramid. Just going to write in pyramid just to keep this one on the page. Those of you who are good at maths you would have identified that as a square base pyramid. Okay, similar techniques again then, starting off with our thick and thin lines. And with this one, because it's got sloping surfaces, the light would tend to hit it first on this left hand side, but as it moves its way down towards this bottom corner, it will be more shadowed. So I'm going to start in this corner, not too heavy. But then as I come this way, fade that out. Bring that a bit close to that edge. And so on. And then the same. Okay, fairly dark here. Working away, getting lighter and lighter as we move up the object, and possibly dark over on the opposite corner, blending back towards light at the top. Okay, next one. So let's go down to the bottom. We don't do the bottom right, we'll do this one here. Okay, so if you have a look at it, it's sort of round at the top and the bottom. It's got two straight sides, so sort of a baked bean can sort of shape. So we're looking at a cylinder here. Let's just write that one in. And this shape has got a solid top and bottom, whereas this one, which we'll talk about in a minute, is hollow. Okay, so what I want to do with this one, let's pick a different colour. Let's go with, yeah, I'll do this one in blue. Okay, first thing we're going to do is the sides. So again, thick and thin. Want the light to sort of bounce off the edge in the middle a little bit, so nice and thick there, to sort of thinner in the middle, like so. And same on the top outer edges, so it's heavy to start with to nothing, like that. So you can definitely see a thicker line going to a thinner edge, and the same here, thick to thin, same at the bottom, heavy to light, heavy to light, the bottom edge. Okay, and that will then give it definition as if the light is hitting the edges. And every opposite dark has a mirrored opposite. So where it's dark here on this side, on the opposite side over here, it would do exactly the same, and the same here, like so. And then all we need to do now is to tone it. So as the light hits it, if we're coming from this top left hand corner again, it's going to hit it sort of here. So what we want to try and do is show that as it moves away towards the edges and away around this side, it's coming away from the light, so it's going to get darker and darker. So we'll start on this edge. It won't be white here, it'll still be fairly dark. We're going to choose our ruler to do this, moving it slowly towards that point of lightness, so which is going to be about there. And then coming from the opposite side, but very dark this time because this is the darkest edge, I'm going to move around the surface. Getting lighter and taking that pressure off. Until we basically run into that light area where it's pretty much white. So there'll be a tiny, and if you do slip or you've gone over or you get a bit carried away, you can always put your ruler back on, take an eraser and just rub the line back in and take that colour out. And then it just basically follows through on the sort of isometric 30-degree angle on the top. So where it's shaded over here, keeping that angle fairly much the same, we're going to go dark to light, and it will end where the highlight ends here, or begins should I say, and the same here, nice and dark, same angle, getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Okay, so that could represent a piece of, could be a solid piece of metal bar, got to be aluminium or steel, if you need to shade it or tone it in silver or with your pencil or grey. Or again, if you're trying to show any cylindrical object, that's how you would do that one. Okay, similar for the tube. So, let's write this in. If you guess that correctly, that's tube. So this one's got a hollow section to it, but it's pretty much the same in the way that the thick and thin lines work. So again, just get your rule the right way around. We're going to thick and thin that top edge, and the same with the bottom edge. Okay, and then we're going to put in the back curve, heavy to light, as it moves away here from the shadowed area, and thick to thin on that back edge. Okay, and on the front, thick to thin, thick to thin. Remember I said everyone had an opposite, so same on the opposite edges, thick to thin, thick to thin, and then the insides. So, okay, and like we shaded or toned the cylinder, pretty much the same, but just have a think about where your light's hitting. So again, it's coming down on the top, so our lightest section really wants to be on this, just over the brow of the top surface there. So we're going to be toning again. Nothing, and then obviously underneath at the bottom, And if you're trying to show metal, sometimes it's not a bad idea to flick it with your ruler as if it's lines backwards and forwards. And if you miss a slight little gap, so it puts that sort of machine look. And again, fading out to pretty much nothing where the highlights are its strongest. And then just got to shade in these. So dark into light. And again it follows the highlights on this bottom edge. Dark to light. Dark to light. And then just the inner part of the tube, and again, if I use the lines technique to show dark, and because this is the inside of the tube we're looking at as well, the light's going to come in from this side and hit on this opposite surface here. So again, it'll be slightly offset from the one above, but keep the angle of the toning pretty much the same, like so. Okay, and that is your tube. Okay, right, moving on now. That's probably one of the harder ones to do, the tube. And the most difficult one that we're going to do today is this top one here, which I think you've probably already guessed what shape that's going to be. Okay, so moving along to this one, and this one is what we call a prism. And it sort of just fans out. So again, if the light's coming from this side, we're just going to gradually take each surface and get darker as we move around. So let's do this one in, let's do it in orange, I think. So again, thick and thin, heavier at the bottom. Okay, and it's a matter of just taking each one. And as we come this way, we're getting slightly darker. And even on each surface plane as well, we can graduate that tone. So we're slightly darker on this edge. Getting to light on this one. And making each darker side even firmer as we move around. Away from that light source. Just going to take it around slightly. Making this one the heaviest. And there you have your prism. Next one, rounded bottom, two straight sides. You guessed it, this one is a cone. And we'll use the dark green for this one. again. Thick to thin. With the bottom edge, again, fizzling that out to basically nothing, to a highlight. And if the light's coming down, it is going to hit it sort of here. So I'm going to fan that around. And also, again, you can do this freehand, but with it being a bigger shape, I'm going to use my ruler and just to keep the line straight, because what you'll need to do is to try and keep the darker tone wide at the bottom, but take it to a point towards the top. So you sort of fanning the ruler across the bottom like that, keeping that angle as you do. Always aiming towards that point. Yeah, lighter now. Okay, and then from the other side. And sometimes with this one, it's quite nice to have a bit of a break in the highlight as well. And we have a couple of points where it's refracting that light. Little mistake there. I'll just point out it a little bit. Should be to the right. Yeah. Perfect. And then if it needs neatening up a little bit at the bottom, I've used the ruler. Just soften that in there, and on this side. Like so. Okay, so that's your cone. And next, by no means least, it's the most difficult one to do, which is, you probably guessed it, the sphere. Okay, and we're going to do this one in red. Okay, so with the sphere, if you think of a sort of crescent moon shape to start with, the light's going to hit it on this top left hand sort of area here, casting a highlight about there. So that'll be the whitest part of the sphere. So the darkest part is obviously underneath here, like the dark side of the moon, on the side that we can't get to. So what we want to do is outline our circle first. As you can see, I've just lightly marked out a circle there. You can either do that freehand, or you could use a compass or something round to draw around. And just take your time with this one. Nice and heavy. If you're using very soft crayons like I'm using, they do go blunt quite quickly. Trying to keep it round is difficult too. And then lighter. So basically we have a thicker edge here, and then it gets thinner and thinner and thinner to almost nothing at the top. And then start toning, again thinking about that crescent shape, nice and heavy up against this edge to start with. So this is our most intense area. And then lightening as we go. And then we can go around in circles to blend as well. And then bring that dark into the middle of the shape. But always keeping that crescent shape, so dark. And keep those circles moving backwards and forwards. And reduce this white circle. Almost nothing. Just work your way backwards, just to blend a little bit of that. Shouldn't be any tide marks. And there we have it, finished artifact. So 7 shapes, is it? 7 shapes, toned, enhanced to look 3-dimensional. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you soon on the next video. Okay, cheers. Bye for now.